Welcome to We Hear Her. I'm Erin Trenbeth Murray, and I'm here today with another amazing woman who is sharing her story and insights into life lessons learned. Hi there, I'm Erin Trenbeth Murray, and thank you for joining us for the We Hear Her podcast with Women Who Succeed. I am here today with my old friend, Allison Dayton. I hate to say the word old, but I mean in tenure. Yes. We lived in the neighborhood together for quite a while and just recently reconnected. And Allison is doing some amazing advocacy work for the LGBTQ community. And we're excited to hear about that, some things that she's been growing in personally and why she chose to join Women Who Succeed. So let me jump in with a little bit on her bio. She lives with her husband, Ken, in Salt Lake and has 3 amazing grown children and a brand new son-in-law, which has got to be fun. I need to hear about having an in-law.
It's very exciting.
Together with her family, she has a dog and 8 chickens. In her professional career, she was an account executive for numerous companies. And as her career progressed, she entered into the creative space, serving in executive roles for marketing and design. And I know that she is incredibly creative because one of those roles was a fantastic designer of jewelry, which everyone loved. Most recently, Allison centered her focus on the Utah community by founding the Lift and Love Foundation. Over the past 3 years, her dream expanded to a small team of 4. Together, they work to develop programming that offers family support, group meetings, education, coaching, and resources. They have recently expanded their foundation to include an online platform and the Lift and Love podcast. So we will have to share podcasts. As a Women Who Succeed mentor, Allison looks forward to working with her mentees on advocacy, communication, adaptability, interpersonal skills, creativity, teamwork, and assertiveness. And just before we began this podcast, Allison and I were talking a little bit about having uncomfortable conversations, being direct and candid, and how important that skill is for everyone, but particularly for women as well. So Allison, thank you for being here today.
I'm so excited. I'm excited to be here with you.
Thanks.
I would do anything
well,
with
I
you.
appreciate that.
And I'm excited to talk about the way we do. Yeah. So all these exciting things that happen in life.
Let me ask you first. I need to know what happened? What happened
to the jewelry?
I love that so much.
I know. It was it was a really fun. So I was like, I'm going to do advertising. And it was really great for a little bit. And then the jewelry kind of just hit me. And I'd always been a collector of jewelry.
Yeah.
Since I was little, I'd always worn a ton of jewelry.
Look at the fabulousness now.
I still wear a lot of jewelry. And, so I started doing that, and I did my own company for a long time, like 11 years. And then I got hired to create 2 different jewelry lines for 2 different companies. One was traditional, more like mine, and the other was with 3Form, which is created which was designed or developed in Utah. It's an architectural material. And I did these direct sales, like home party sales-based companies. And I loved it, but my kids needed me at home. And after a while, I got sick of... At the end, I was working with designers rather than just designing myself. But it just wasn't enough. It didn't feed me.
Fulfilling. Yeah. And I love that, you can call it.
Yeah.
It's good to be able to say, yep, I'm going to call it here.
Yeah.
It was a good ride. I loved it. I had so much fun with it. And now the new passion and desire is refocusing on my children who need me.
Well, and I mean, I say I called it, we say, you call it, but I knew I needed something different, but it was when one of the companies got really hard to be with. And I think that's really hard too, is to know to leaving a company is hard.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like it was sort of a confluence of things that helped me to leave, but it was hard. And so I came home, I helped my kids. My 2 youngest were still in school. One was in junior high and one was starting high school. And it was hard years for them. But it was also hard for me because I'd left I was the jewelry designer. And now what am I? So I spent a couple of years being trying to really find value in what I was doing again. Because I'd always worked.
Yep.
And you can always use that identity, but shifting into a new identity of mom, which I love, and it's always been super important, but it's also like interesting
Right.
to shift into that new space and find all the fulfillment there. And
Well, I
everything.
think that I took a similar break after I'd been
Yeah.
CEO 23 years, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not sure who I am anymore.
Right?
Because in a professional setting, you're getting accolades, you're getting awards, you're getting
Yeah.
recognitions, you're getting, and then
Sales are going up.
Yeah.
Things are great.
there's things to measure.
Yeah.
But as a mother, I'm like,
High school
yay,
kids,
the
like there's not a lot of
laundry.
measure
They
there.
did their laundry on their own.
Right.
Yay, it's a success.
Yeah, or you're like worried about the laundry
Right.
when you didn't really have time to sort of focus on
Yeah.
that before. It's a shift.
It is.
It's
Are
a-
you from here originally?
I was born in Palo Alto,
Mm-hmm.
and then my family moved here when I was really little. So I've been here
Grew
forever.
up here
Yeah.
forever. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to East High School,
Yeah.
and my kids went to East High, except for the last one went to Olympus the last year and a half. But yeah, my grandparents went to East High. My mom
Oh my
went
goodness.
to East High.
Yeah, that's some homegrown there.
Yeah. Part of what I did when I was with the kids, I was PTA president. Lots
Of
of
East
energy.
High?
Yeah, there were a couple of us. It was a big deal.
Oh.
But it was the years when the pantry and the clothing,
The shower and the clothing and the laundry
we got
put
those
in.
things going. A couple of women had started the showers
Mm-hmm.
and the wash room before we got there. But we were able to put the rest of it together.
So
it was
needed. And now
pretty
you see
powerful.
the policy project that's
Yeah.
trying to expand that model to
Yep.
high schools for homeless teens all
Well,
across
and many
the
different
state.
high schools picked that up. There were
Yeah.
some amazing women involved, and it wasn't maybe 5 years ago. So that was one of the things
Mm-hmm.
we got to do.
I love that you shared that part, because one of the things that we've talked about in Women Who Succeed is that we're talking about leadership and confidence with women, regardless if you are a stay-at-home mom, if
Right.
you are a scientist, if you are a CEO. Where are you actively showing leadership? And I mean, there's
always a
prime
place.
example.
Yeah. Even if you have a small group of friends, or like in your church community, or in your, in any community, you can step up and make things
Mm-hmm.
happen.
Yeah.
And you can kind of focus the energies of whatever community into really good work.
Yeah.
But it does take a little
Little
effort.
Well, speaking of, you
Yes.
decided that wasn't enough. I need to
Yeah.
become the founder of a foundation.
Well,
Tell me
actually,
about
as
that.
I was finishing my tenure as co-PTA president, my oldest brother, who was gay,
Mm-hmm.
who was 58, he took his own life right at the very last days of school that year. And
so sorry.
I know, it was so hard, and I loved this brother. It was really hard. It was hard on all of us. And I just realized then that I was equipped, because I had grown up with this brother, and my parents were amazingly supportive of this brother and this son of theirs. They went through all the, in the early 70s and 80s, they went through he can change and all of the things. And then they realized, like, no, this is who he is. And for the time, they were kind of all in, really supportive, really, really, like, his boyfriends came on family trips. They were part of our family. But so I realized I had this ability and this knowledge about gay people that most people that I associate with didn't. So, and at the same time, I realized my own son was gay. We'd suspected for about 2 or 3 years before that, and then he came out to us a year later.
You're out of high school?
He came out the summer between high school and college.
Okay.
Which was a good time. I mean, he came out, he came to it himself. It took him a little while to come to it himself.
Yeah.
But so I have this brother who I've lost, and really lost to the sadness of not being accepted, and not being accepted in the culture and in our religion, which we're members of the LDS, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is a conservative religion, and has really very particular like doctrinal and policy issues that make it really hard to be LGBTQ in the church. Mm-hmm. We'll just call it the church so I don't have to spill out the words. Yes. But my brother felt a deep loss leaving that as a young, like a 25-year-old. And then here I have this son, and what am I going to, like, I don't want what happened to my brother to happen to anybody. I don't want anyone to feel that disconnected from their community. So I just felt really, really kind of called to speak up. And I knew really quickly that it was the work of mothers to protect their children in society and and especially in religious cultures. Conservative religious cultures.
Sure, the mother bear, regardless, hands down, this is your child.
Yeah.
And none of us, in any regard, as we watch our children grow and they don't get invited to a birthday party or they got left out of the soccer game. And then
the worst pain.
The worst. And even they're 15 or 16 years old or they're 18, you still get those little stabs. And you want to make sure that they feel loved and respected and included at all times. And that's what I hear
and
you saying you wanted to protect.
That belonging, we're hardwired to belong to others, to a community. I mean, in prehistoric times, if you didn't belong, you got eaten or you died. I mean, it's hardwired in us to belong to the people around us in our cultures and those that we spend time with. And we've got this disconnect where we have people who we don't bring in far enough to be safe. I saw this space, and I knew I'd been given a gift growing up with this brother, and even losing him the way that I lost him, that we all lost him. I'd been given a gift and knowledge that other people didn't have. So I started this little Instagram account. It was going to be just like super inspirational. And then I realized that moms needed help and they were reaching out. So we started a mom group and podcasts. And then I realized that their kids needed help. So we started support, like an online support, not an online, but a Zoom support group. We have a therapist that works with the kids. All the way up to 30. Through the foundation. Uh-huh. And so we've got Zoom mom meetings. We've got Zoom mom meetings for LGBTQ moms with LGBTQ kids. We've got Zoom meetings with moms with just trans or non-binary children, because that's an entirely different thing than LGBTQ. Yeah. And there's a lot of parents need to be really like on top of what's going on and the changes in laws and whatnot. So we've got a specific group for moms. Then we started the youth group, which is 11 to 17. And we have a young adult group, which is 18 to 30.
Oh my gosh.
We have an adult group. We just started a trans, like an identity group of adults who meet together and talk. A women's group, so women, whoever identifies as a woman and is in the LGBTQ community. I think we'll just start, we're about to start a group for people who are in mixed marriages, meaning mixed orientation marriages, meaning a gay person married to a straight person. Because there are many, many people out there that identify in that group. And we're working on Spanish language. So,
oh my gosh,
I know.
Allison.
It's crazy. I was just going to do an Instagram account.
Well,
it was just going to be easy.
There's nothing that you do that is small.
No.
And so it just kind of,
nobody
goes
in this group
doing this space. So tell me, how do you have support staff? How are you managing this?
One paid, we have a store, which we pay the girls that do the packaging and shipping, and I have a social media manager who I pay. Everybody else is volunteer. As we move into Spanish, we'll need some funds and we'll need some help there. And I think if we grow much bigger, none of us take any money, but we'll need to get some more help and more like skilled help.
Right.
It's just so big.
You can't do it all. You can't do it all. So let's pause there and do a little commercial here because I am feeling compelled that we need Allison to share into that camera where folks can go to donate, how she can talk with you if you're interested in sponsoring, because this clearly is such a worthwhile, critical, and necessary foundation for our community. And I just applaud her so much.
Oh,
but
thank
to share
you.
us how we
in
can
this camera in the
this
middle.
right
Oh,
here.
this one. Okay. Well, and you and I have talked about this. It's really hard to raise funds because within the when I'm doing work with families within the LGBTQ community who are also active or have been active but are still interested in the LDS church. So people from outside of the LDS church don't often want to donate because the work's done inside and people inside are uncomfortable. Although hopefully with the new law passed for respective marriage, we'll get more support from inside. But we're in a weird space because we do this work inside because there are so many people inside of the church who need this support, like my brother did and like my son. But we have a hard time. So if anyone is interested, I would love you to reach out to Allison at liftandlove.org. You can donate online. We run bare bones. There's no money going to office space or any of it. It's all to therapy, to support groups, to Spanish language will be next, to meetings. We help support the BYU. So no BYU schools or church-owned schools have LGBTQ programs. So they're all done by the kids who have the gumption to start one around or to run them. So we help support their programs because that's such a critical time, college.
Yeah.
Anyway, we would love any help, if you are interested in helping both physically and financially, we would love your help.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you.
Well, good.
Thanks for letting me do that.
Of course. Tell me, how has your son responded to your advocacy work? What's that been like for him to be in that space that he's an adult, he's a young adult now,
Yeah,
and
he's
he
23.
has a mom who is active in her faith and is advocating for him. And I'm just curious, what does that look like, the relationship with you and him?
You know, that is the other part. Not all moms could do this. And not all children would be happy with their moms doing this.
Yeah.
And Jake is, he's just kind of an amazing kid. He's proud of me. He's glad that I'm doing it. He doesn't want to do it at all. He doesn't, he's 23.
Yeah.
He graduates he's actually finished up at BYU, getting ready to go on to grad school. And he is not as interested in the church as he used to be.
Yeah.
He just doesn't see a way forward, which makes good sense for him, at least at this time. But he's proud of me. He's glad to have a mom who supports. And sometimes I'm like, wow, our story's really out there. That's got to be hard on a 23-year-old. But he's just he's good with it. He knows he's blessed with really supportive parents and family. And I think he has had enough experience to know that most people aren't. So he's good.
He's very lucky. He's very, very lucky to have you.
He's darling and happy and really healthy, which is the thing that was so hard for me. I saw this brother who was not healthy. He went through some really horrible things and his life wasn't great. And to think, oh, this is going to be my son, it was so painful for me. Until one day I realized my son's life isn't going to look like that. He's going to have a great life and he's going to be healthy and happy and in love and included, and his life is going to be so much better. And that was the piece that I got over this sadness of I don't want this to happen again. And opinions are moving quickly, even within conservative religions. People are starting to know enough. My son, you just know how much goodness there is there. So it shifts the way people see. We used to in the day we used to see only gay men. They were older, and we would only see them if their lives were crazy in public. And you and I grew up in times of AIDS and all of that.
For sure.
So we used to have this view of it, but really now when you see these children coming out who are 10, 11, 12, 13, when they really that come to their own sexuality and they are like, Mom and Dad, by the way, we see it just so differently. And now the moms aren't like horrified. Oh my gosh, I have a gay son. I'm not going to talk about it. But they're like, I have a gay son or a trans child, and I'm going to protect this, daughter, son, child. And so we're really in a different universe than when you and I grew up.
No, it sounds like we were like 100 years ago.
It feels like 100 years ago when you look at it.
Does. With all of your energy and effort with that in your busy life, what compelled you then to join Women Who Succeed when you already have so much on your plate?
It was weird. It was
weird.
It was a weird, because until we hired a social media manager, until we got donations to hire a social media manager, I was drowning. And drowning in like people's pain too. Not even, the work's easy for me. I can work like a dog, right? You know how,
Yeah.
And I started, Kristen Andrus invited me, and Emily invited me to one of their events. I saw you there, and it just felt right. Like being with women has always revitalized and energized me. Women who are successful and do things just make me like so hopeful. And all along on this, like I said, I knew right away it was the women, it was the mothers, and it's women who will take care of these children.
Yeah.
And this is an extension. Women Who Succeed is an extension of that energy, and like what I wouldn't have given for a woman to like take me under her wings when I was young. My mom didn't work. Most of my friends' moms didn't work. So to be a working woman, we were on that saddle where the women all stayed home, and now,
Yeah.
And I loved working, and now I can kind of talk to these. I've got these two cute mentees, and they are going for it, and they're doing things. I mean, their resumes are amazing. Where at that age, mine was nothing.
Oh yeah, I've talked about that with some of the other ladies. We're like, I worked at the Snow Shack.
Stocking feet. I sold socks. I painted things at the dotted line. I mean, nothing. Yeah. Nothing to prepare me. I had no resume. No.
Yeah.
Nothing important. And they're so ahead of us. I love it. I've learned a lot from them.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Well, I'm so grateful that you could be here today with us. You can
and thank you for doing this.
Oh, it's truly
so
my pleasure.
Awesome.
It's truly my pleasure. And you can clearly see from Allison, talk about, gumption and a force. I mean, a true force, an advocate, a passionate mother who wants things to be good and right for all kids. And I'm really hopeful that you all look up, lift, and love. And we're really grateful that Allison is a part of Women Who Succeed. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having this organization. I mean, what power we bring to young women. Yeah. They don't have to go through the stuff that we did. Oh, hopefully. And they can learn to stand on their own, because that's what it takes. You have to learn to be good with yourself before you can make change.
Exactly.
Yeah. So thank you.
Well, thank you again for being with us with the We Hear Her podcast with Women Who Succeed. I'm Erin Trenbeth Murray, and we will see you next time. Thank you for taking the time to hear her. Join our efforts and learn more about Women Who Succeed at womenwhosucceed.org. A big thank you to our sponsor, the Clark and Christine Ivory Foundation.